The stars hung like cold lanterns above the derelict research station orbiting the black star, a dying neutron sun in a forgotten quadrant of space. It was the kind of place the galaxy wanted to forget, a place where secrets were buried and monsters were made. The Icarus Dawn, a weathered but capable salvage ship, drifted silently toward the husk of Station Theron. Its captain, Elias Voss, leaned over the console, his face lit dimly by the flickering status lights. His crew, a mix of veterans, criminals, and outcasts, stood behind him, quiet as ghosts. "Docking sequence initiated," said Mara, the ship's AI, her voice as calm as the void. "No life signs detected. Radiation levels within tolerable range." "Tolerable?" muttered Voss, adjusting his gloves. "That's a word that rarely ends well out here." The mission was simple on paper. Investigate a decades-abandoned Black Ops station, recover whatever was left, and return before the radiation turned their bones to ash. But Voss knew better. He'd seen enough salvage jobs to know that anything left floating near the Black Star had a story, and those stories always ended in blood. The crew, Kellen the engineer, Sarah the medic, Reich the muscle, and Darren the ex-corporate tech, gathered their gear. With a hiss of air and a dull clang, the docking clamps latched onto the station. The airlock creaked open like an old tomb, revealing a corridor bathed in emergency red light. The walls were scorched, panels hung like broken ribs. Dried blood stained the floor in long, streaky patterns. "I thought this place went dark in 42, said Kellen, peering down a hallway. "That blood looks fresh." "Maybe someone beat us here," Reich offered, hand on the grip of his plasma rifle. "Maybe," Voss said, though he didn't believe it. They split into teams, standard protocol. Voss, Sarah, and Reich took the lower decks while Kellen and Darren accessed the command core. The station was massive, meant for 100 personnel. It was also far too quiet. Not even the hum of functioning systems echoed through the halls. Just silence, and something beneath it, a pressure like the sensation of being watched from behind. In the lower decks, the team found sealed laboratories, the windows smeared with grime and ash. Sarah wiped one clean, revealing a sight that turned her breath cold. Inside was a tank, shattered, and strange markings on the walls. Not written, but gouged, like claws or fangs had scrawled them in a mad frenzy. "Genetics lab," Sarah whispered. "Bioengineering wing." That's what Theron was. Not just research. They were growing things. Reich grimaced. "Growing what?" Voss answered by pointing to a file label half-burned on a nearby panel. Project X-13. Xenomorph variant, Black Star strain. He didn't need to explain. Everyone in the outer colonies knew about the Xenomorphs, legendary predators, bioweapons gone rogue, nightmares forged in Black Ops hellholes just like this one. The Black Star strain was rumored to be the deadliest, bred in gravitational and radiation extremes. No one had ever confirmed its existence. Until now. Meanwhile, Kellen and Darren reached the command core. Systems were barely online, flickering in and out like dying fireflies. But the logs were still intact, archived in the deep backup cores. Darren worked quickly, slicing through firewalls with practiced ease. "Got something," he said. "Final logs, dated April 5th, 2242. Audio file. Want to hear it?" Kellen hesitated. "Play it." A voice crackled to life. Female. Calm but strained. "This is Dr. Lyra Venn. Final message. If anyone finds this, know that we tried. We tried to contain it. We tried to understand it. But the Black Star strain doesn't follow the rules. It doesn't need hosts like the others. It mimics, it learns. It became us." There was silence, then screams, then a deep, guttural sound. Not human. The feed ended. "Oh, hell no," Kellen muttered. "We're leaving. Now." But the station had other plans. Back in the lower decks, Voss's team encountered the first body, what was left of it. The corpse hung from the ceiling, impaled by metal piping, its flesh wrong. Not just decayed, but reshaped. Bones extended at unnatural angles. The face half-melded into a snarl that looked almost xenomorphic. "Hybrid?" Reich asked, tightening his grip. "No," said Sarah, shaking. "This isn't a host. This is a mutation. It rewrote him." They didn't notice the shadow moving behind them until it was too late. Reich went down in a blur of speed. A scream ripped from his lungs as something black and spined dragged him into the vents above. His rifle clattered to the floor, firing wild into the dark. Voss shouted his name and fired, but the thing was gone. Fast, quiet, like a living phantom. They ran, retreating toward the rendezvous point, but corridors twisted behind them. The station was changing, as if it remembered them, as if it wanted them lost. Kellen and Darren tried to restore navigation, but systems went dark. Doors locked. Lights failed. Something scraped the outside of the control room, pacing. "I don't think it's just one," Darren said. "It mimics," Kellen reminded him, voice hollow. "It becomes us." Sarah sealed the medbay and worked feverishly on the recovered blood sample. It was active, cells dividing, changing, reaching out across the petri dish like it was alive. She poured acid on it. It laughed, not audibly but with movement, forming shapes in the dish, like a face trying to break through. The creature struck again, this time in the main atrium. It had grown.
Taller.
More humanoid, but still sleek, deadly. Black carapace gleamed in the emergency lights as it walked upright on two legs. Its head tilted in curiosity, not rage. It spoke, not with words, but with stolen voices, Reich's voice. Then Dr. Ven's. Then Sarah's. Voss opened fire. The xenomorph vanished into the vents again, but not before it hissed a final word. Mimicked from Ven's logs. Legacy. They had to destroy the station. There was no other way. Kellen worked on setting the reactor to overload while Darren tried to disable the failsafes. Voss and Sarah fought to keep the creature at bay, or creatures. It had become multiple now. Not clones, but reflections. Mimics grown from stolen DNA, memories, and voices. "They're not hunting us," Sarah realized. "They're evolving, adapting, studying." "Let's make the lesson painful," Voss growled. The countdown began. 10 minutes. But the xenomorphs were already inside the control room. Darren screamed as one tore through him, dragging his body into the core. Kellen stayed behind, sealing the door behind Voss and Sarah. "I'll hold them off. You two get out," Kellen said, smiling grimly. "You won't make it," Sarah said, tears rising. "Neither will they," Kellen replied, arming the detonation manually. Voss and Sarah raced through collapsing corridors, fire and radiation blooming behind them. The station groaned, buckling under the growing energy pulse. The xenomorphs howled, caught between form and fire. They made it to the Icarus Dawn. Mara opened the airlock just in time. As the ship broke free of the dying station, a massive explosion lit up the Black Star's orbit. For a brief second, the void itself seemed to scream. Silence returned. Voss and Sarah sat in the cockpit, bloodied, broken, but alive. "Do you think it's over?" she asked. Voss looked out the viewport, eyes haunted. "No," he said. "A legacy doesn't end with fire. It waits." And far below, on a drifting shard of debris from Station Theron, a sliver of black biomass pulsed softly. It slithered like a whisper into the void, searching, becoming. The legacy of the Black Star had only just begun.